It was about 2.5 years ago. I'm hanging out in New York City in Soho, shopping with two friends of mine, Eric and Michael, two of my best buds. And we, in Soho, what do? You drink coffee, you eat, and you shop. And these guys are shoppers. They actually teach me how to shop, what to wear, and what to do. So I'm with Amanda, and they say, hey, we're going to this denim bar. And at the time, I have to admit, I didn't know what a denim bar was. And so I tag along. And the store is called, if you've never heard of the store, I'd never heard of it, it's called APC. And at APC, it's a denim bar where they do certain things to jeans, again, which I knew nothing about. Long story short, Michael walks out with a few pairs of jeans, and he begins to tell me that these jeans cost about $300 to $400 a pair. Now, I don't know about you, but that's outside my comfort zone for paying for jeans. So I said, man, what's the deal with $300 to $400 pair of jeans? He said, well, they're Butler Jeans. And anyway, the funny story is that throughout the day, I thought he had said butter jeans. But if you, again, I didn't know what Butler Jeans were. If you don't know what Butler Jeans are actually jeans that they actually pay people to wear these jeans for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Sometimes homeless people wear these jeans, and then they return them to the store, and then they sell them for $300, $400, $500 a pair. So they're worn, they're butlered. It was a new concept for me, interesting. So anyway, so these two friends of mine are total hipsters, which I'm not. But and by the way, if you're not sure if you're a hipster, let me give you a couple clues. If you're a guy and you wear your jeans tighter than your wife, you're a hipster. If you buy and use beard oil, you are. If you buy beard oil and you wish you could use it, you're a hipster. If you wear flannel and boots often, but you actually don't go into the woods, you'd be classified as hipster. And my favorite, the last one, if you wear glasses, but you actually don't have a prescription, you're a hipster. All right, so anyway, these guys, they come to me for a lot of things because, I have about 7, 8 years on them and a little longer in practice. But another thing they had told me about was social media. Dave was talking about social media. So this is, again, 2.5 years. And I had Facebook at the time, so I wasn't like total far into social media. But it was like, hey, bud, you need to get Instagram. You need to get Yelp. You need to get Google+. You need to get Foursquare. You need to get on all these things. I'm like, okay, if you guys are doing it, I need to do it too. So I actually hired a social media firm to set up all this stuff for the practice, and I checked it out briefly, and they had had the right pictures. They had myself and Amanda, and they had all the chiropractic sayings and on the social media pages. And it looked cool. And I actually set up a Instagram account for myself. Did a couple things myself. I kind of forgot about it. I don't do too much. I'm on Facebook for some things we do with the practice and other things. But so it was about a year ago. We're in the practice, and Amanda looks at much more of the new practice member applications than I do, but I happen to look at them on this Monday. And on a typical Monday, we see about 300 visits, and maybe we'll have 5, 6, 7 new ones in there. And I had noticed on this Monday that we had 3 people that actually had put that they found us on Google or internet. Now, I don't know about you, probably most of you have on your paperwork somewhere it says, who can we thank, who can we thank for referring you, or that kind of thing, like, how did you find out about us, that question that we do, and so they put this. It really intrigued me that we had 3 people in one day that had a Google or internet. I was like, man, that's a lot of people in one day on the same source. Most of our people come through referral, like many of you. We do some outreach marketing, be it dinners or health events, so we do some of that too, so it's a variety, but with that, I started to look into it. Now, I don't know if any of you here even have that stuff set up, or if you've ever looked at it. I just went searching, discovered chiropractic, Dr. George, started looking, and I was kind of shocked. I was kind of shocked, Unfortunately, in our culture, if someone gets a negative experience, there's a book I read years ago, I think it's called like The Greatest Car Salesman in the World or something like that, and he talked about that when someone has a negative experience, they're prone, they have a circle of influence, 250 people. So this is long before social media. So if they had bought a car and they had a lemon, they would tell 250 people about it and about this dealership, about this experience. Where if someone had a positive experience, typically they don't tell many people at all, or they may tell just a select few. So now with social media, you have a negative experience out there. Now not only is it 250 people, but it's essentially your whole community potentially if they look you up on social media and whatnot. So anyway, I looked at things. Now granted, there were some decent reviews on there too, but our average rating was actually, a lot of the channels was a 2-star out of 5. Let me tell you a couple things I saw. Cult-like experience. One of the reviews said cult-like experience. Now, I mean, I imagine some of our offices potentially come across like that. Ours could. And we live, breathe, all tick all the time. And we live, breathe, and die chiropractic in our practice. So maybe, someone perceived it incorrectly. We talk about God in the practice. Okay. Another thing I saw was they took x-rays of me and they did some scammy thing up the back of my spine. That'd be called subluxation station. Another review said, I went in there and right off the bat, they started to give me a 45-minute sales pitch. Well, that would be our tour, our consultation, our day one experience. I mean, it was funny because they're explaining these things. So here's what I did. Check it out for yourself. I did 2 things. The first thing is what I did is I actually, I targeted some of my practice members I knew were techies, who I knew were hipsters, who I knew were on social media that had a great experience in practice, because like you, 98% of the people that come to our practice have an overwhelmingly amazing experience. I targeted them. Long story short, a few months later, checked out all these ratings and stuff, and everything's up at 4 or 5 star. I got all these great reviews, and happy camper there. Another thing I started to do was I started to really reevaluate, like we all do in life, and I have to admit that probably it was a tipping point for me because I turned 40 years old about that same time. So between turning 40 and having all these weird reviews on the social media, I started to reevaluate what I was doing on a daily basis. Now, at conferences like this, many mentors through the years, reading books on leadership, reading books on motivation, I've heard time and time again, and even this weekend, one of the common themes is about you, is about showing up, is about preparing yourself, is about your daily routine. And I started to reevaluate what my daily routine was. And honestly, transparent, hit or miss. Some days, on purpose, daily routine down, I was prepared, I was ready to serve, I had an extraordinary day in the practice, things came together. Other days, if I missed, woke up, a reactive approach. Because you can have a reactive approach to your day if you're not careful. And essentially my days sometimes would look like this, right? So get up, not spend time properly in the mornings, all of a sudden grinding through emails, hitting voicemails, text messages, Facebook messages, Google, it's one thing after another, a reactive approach. First thing, one of the things I don't do anymore, which I did for many years, or years, a season, is, it's kind of like right off the bat, get into your emails. You'll get into that stuff. And as you know, if you start to open your email, you're going to get in a reactive perspective because there's some fires going on, at least in my life. So this is what my day looked like. It was productivity, right? So I was very productive, but maybe not at the right things. And when you're super productive, when you grind and hustle, but you don't have a purpose, you can burn out. I heard Kevin talking the other day, or someone saying about it, what's up with these chiropractors that are burning out at 8 or 10 years, or 15 years? I can tell you what it is. They're losing a purpose or what they do every day on a daily basis. And when you're like this, productivity, being busy, putting out fires, sure, serving people, but lacking a purpose, you can definitely be productive, but lose value in what you're doing, and not to mention be unbalanced, lose track with family time, children, social, and everything, and even not even take care of yourself from a health perspective. So between looking at all that and really reevaluating, I came across a few things, and actually a book I highly recommend called One Thing. Has anyone here read that book called One Thing? See someone in the back. Phenomenal book. Highly recommend you get it. I have a lot of reads. Typically, like many of you, read a few books at a time. It's a recent read I've had, and I've reread it again, and I highly recommend the book One Thing. And they go through this principle in here, and I want to share it with you, and it's really helped me position myself better. So now we still have productivity. Now remember this, you all know the iceberg analogy because of chiropractic, right? Or this analogy I have here. But here's the thing you have to remember in life. When you look at successful people, when I look at successful people, you look at people who have the practice maybe you desire, or the business, or the attributes, or they're showing up. It seems like they're always everywhere. I can guarantee you, if they're doing it long term, now you see people in a flash of a pan, they're there and then they're gone. I'm not talking about that because they burn out. I'm talking about the people that year after year after year show success. They show up, they do the right thing, they're pushing the profession forward. They have wonderful families and they're well balanced. I can tell you that you see that public life, but what we miss so many times is the private life. Remember, your public life is a direct reflection, or those people you see, their public life is a direct reflection of their private life and what they do on their own time and how they prepare. And with this, I love this because it talks about purpose, right? Starting your day on purpose. One of the things I've learned is that when you have your day start on purpose, there's some things that you're going to need in your day. Now, there's something that I call, and this book talks about, it's called non-negotiable things that you do during your preparation, your morning, right? A non-negotiable. And if you think about it, when you start on purpose and you start your day correctly, there's certain things. It may just be one thing. Maybe it's the way you eat in the morning. Maybe it's an exercise you do. Maybe it's prayer time. Maybe it's meditation. There's something that you do. When you do it, your day is going to be phenomenal. You're going to all of a sudden hear more miracles and testimonies in the practice. Right? You're going to see all of a sudden there's going to be a positive spin in everything. You're going to be a proactive approach instead of a reactive approach. There's that one thing that you're doing. You know it, and a lot of times you know what it is. You look back at your day, you say, man, I had a fabulous day there. I had a great season there. What was I doing there? I can tell you is because that non-negotiable thing, when I say non-negotiable, you can live without it. You can start your day without it, but when you do, you're not as good as you are when you start with it. For me, I exercise, or I spend time in a hot sauna. I love my hot sauna. I love sweating it out. Another thing you need to do is support your spouse. If you really want to have a wonderful marriage, support your spouse in their non-negotiable. The thing that they need to do in the morning, part of their preparation time, and when they do it, they're a more phenomenal person. They can serve the way they need to serve, and they make a big difference in the community. Amanda's is stretching and yoga. When she gets her yoga time in, guess what? She's a happier person, a happier wife, a better mother, a better chiropractor. So we have purpose, we have priority. When you prioritize things correctly, when you're on purpose, you'll find the priorities in your life. I challenge you to find that one thing each day. Maybe it's a few things each day that you need to prioritize. They're going to happen that day, because if you don't make those things happen, you're not going to have the day you expect to have. When you, on purpose, you prioritize, you'll be more productive. I can tell you, when you're on purpose, your productivity will expand exponentially. You'll get more stuff done. And you'll be able to do it long term. You'll be able to show up. You'll be able to do the right things on a long-term basis. You'll be able to do, like Lou said, the chiropractor who was practicing into his 90s for 70 years. There is absolutely no way any of us could practice 30, 50, or 70 years if we don't have an underlying why or reason that we do the things we do on a daily basis. So I challenge you to reevaluate what you do on a daily basis, how you find your purpose, your daily purpose, how you renew your mind on a daily basis. Challenge you to grab that profit. Well, does that mean money? Sure, it means money. I tell you what, every business starts with a productive person. That's you, typically, the chiropractor. And I guarantee you that if you have a productive person, in order to build a productive practice, you put productive people around you. You build a team. You delegate. Right? It doesn't just mean money, though. Profit is also what? Profit is more testimonies. Profit is more miracles. Profit is more families under care. Profit is giving back to your profession, giving back to the things you love. Profit is seeing more people off medications. Profit is seeing more people living without interference. All those things are profit. It's not just money. I love what John Maxwell says, though. Money won't make you happy, but it sure gives you more options. Even better is our purpose in chiropractic. I love this picture because we get to do what we love to do. I mean, come on, right? How many other careers and professions, when you look at it? I mean, I think we were hit breakfast here this morning down in Midtown. We hit breakfast on the way here. And we're having a cup of coffee, one of our favorite little breakfast spots in Midtown. And man, it's like There's guys out there, they're construction guys. They sat, they were there, they actually just hung out. They just kind of leaned on their truck for 45 minutes, just kind of smoking and hanging out. And I'm not going to judge their purpose and what they're up to in life, but I suspect that finding our purpose as a chiropractor is probably a little easier than defining purpose as certain careers or professions. That's my hunch. And when we do what we love to do, who here loves what they do? Does the world need it? Yep. We get to be paid for this too. One of the most decompressing things for me is actually, and we've talked about this with friends, and it's like, sometimes you have a heaviness, you have a stress or something going on. For me, there's nothing more decompressing when at our practice, 11 a.m., I get in there, I see those it's like after I see the first 2 or 3 patients, first 2 or 3 practice members, it's just fun. It's like everything that was going on with me, all those cares of the world, it's just they fell off. They're gone. Practice for me and hanging out with people and adjusting them and taking care of them, it's very decompressing. I love it. It's one of the things I love about going to the practice is being with the people, loving on them, adjusting them, removing interference. Doesn't take long. It takes me less than a minute to adjust my wife. It takes me less than 30 seconds to adjust my kids. So I tell our practice members, doctor's report, don't confuse quality of care with quantity of time. Why would I spend more than a minute with you when I spend a minute with my wife? Why would I spend more than a half a minute with your kids when I spend a half a minute with my kids? Here's the best part. We're great at it. Who thinks there's the world? Who here tells themselves, I do a lot of times, who here tells themselves in the mirror they're the world's greatest chiropractor? Right? You're like, firsthand, you didn't know what I was going to say, right? I'm the world's greatest chiropractor. Your affirmations. Maybe that's your non-negotiable that you need to do in the mornings, is your affirmations. Don't miss it, right? I'll show you a video here. This video is cool because every time I watch it, it reminds me of when you're on purpose, how you can take your productivity from just being busy and putting out fires and slashing through emails and doing the things, team problems and this and that, because these things come up with us too. I love this video because it shows when you're on purpose and you prioritize, you can take your productivity and exponentially expand it. It's a cool video. Oh, I think I passed it.
Everybody knows about playing with dominoes, but what you may not know is that a domino can knock over another domino, which is about 1.5 times larger. So what I have here is a chain of dominoes. Each one is 1.5 times larger than the previous one. And the smallest domino is about 5 millimeters high and 1 millimeter thick. And I will carefully place it. And there are 13 dominoes. And the largest domino, it weighs about 100 pounds and is more than 1 meter tall. Ready? Boom.
I love that part.
That was 13 dominoes. If I had 29 dominoes, the last domino would be as tall as the Empire State Building.
Pretty cool, huh? I love that. That's what this weekend's all about, is a domino reaction, right? We can have 300-400 people here this weekend, and we can grow it to 1,000, and we can, just like our practices, it's a domino effect. This person, so they have an amazing experience, they tell this person, they tell this family. This person gets interference removed, they get connected. As we connect other chiropractors and other students in this place and places like this, then we can actually see chiropractic reach critical mass. I challenge you, it starts with you. Critical mass in chiropractic, filling rooms like this in chiropractic, where it's all tick all the time, starts with you. Thank you so much.